Welcome to my discussion on the importance of data wrangling. To start, we'll review what data wrangling is and the processes that go into it before moving on to why these processes are so important. According to Stephanie Mullen in her 2021 book Hands-on Data Analysis with Pandas, 2nd edition, a Python data science handbook for data collection, wrangling, analysis, and visualization, data wrangling is the process of taking input data and changing it from its original state into a format that can be used for meaningful analysis. This process is also referred to as data manipulation, as there's quite a lot of manipulating of the data that is involved in this process. According to Mullen, this task is typically broken into 3 steps: data cleaning, data transformation, and data enrichment. One important thing that Mullen notes is that these steps aren't one and done. You may have to revisit them depending on what you find at later stages, or depending on the conclusions you've drawn from your analysis. There are quite a few different things that can be considered data cleaning, which is the first step of this process. According to Mullen, there's a few such as renaming, sorting, reordering, converting data types, removing duplicates, and so on that are common in this process. Typically, this process just consists of taking your data and making it cleaner. Maybe you're trimming out spaces or fixing some numerical issues in the data. Once this data cleaning process is done, we can start performing some transformations on it. When transforming our data, there are a few things that we might do. According to Mullen, it is at this stage that we can move the data around between columns and rows if we think that the data makes more sense associated with a different category or row. So this would be where we would reorganize that data if we want to. Additionally, this is the step where we might want to change the overall format of our data. If, for example, we have been given wide format data, we may want to consider using Pandas' melt method to convert it into long format data. Alternatively, we might want to pivot the data into long format using Pandas' pivot method if we think that will be a better format. Once we finish cleaning and transforming our data into the desired format, we would move on to the next step, which is data enrichment. According to Mullen, data enrichment is the process of, quote, improving the quality of data by adding to it in one way or another. According to Mullen, this step is where you would want to start adding in your new columns of data based on the existing columns. For example, you might have some temperature readings in Celsius, but would also like to track Fahrenheit or even Kelvin temperatures as well. Adding in columns for Kelvin or Fahrenheit, which are calculated based on the Celsius column, would be done at this step. According to Mullen, this step might also consist of grouping continuous or discrete data into bins to reduce the number of unique values, aggregating the values from the data into columns, or even resampling the data if that's what you want to do. Now that we have a deeper understanding of what wrangling is, let's review some of the benefits of going through this process. One of the benefits that I think is most important of going through this process is that you get a chance to familiarize yourself with the data as you work on wrangling it. You might start to notice some trends or patterns in the data, and these can help you further wrangle it into a better format, or even maybe draw some conclusions about the data itself. Ultimately, this will help you have a better understanding of how and why the data is the way it is, compared to if you just take it at face value and don't touch it or wrangle it at all. Another benefit of wrangling the data is the ability to confidently and reliably calculate statistics using your data once it's been wrangled. After all, once you've gone through and cleaned it up, transformed it, and manipulated it however you needed to, you can know that it's ready to calculate statistics that are accurate, as opposed to if you had just calculated them with a bunch of random values in there when it was not clean yet. Similarly, you'll also be able to visualize your data without seeing crazy looking graphs that make no sense, which will help you draw more accurate conclusions once the data has been wrangled. Another benefit of going through this process is it gives you a chance to find and possibly correct invalid or nonsensical data in your set. And this will help prevent any issues that might have arisen if you had just relied on the data without wrangling it first. Ultimately, the wrangling process is of vital importance for data analysis and should never be skipped or attempted half-heartedly, even though it's not the most enjoyable process in the world. Even if that means restarting from square one and re-wrangling all the data, you should always do it with your full effort. Thank you.